So I learned about Refuge from one of my very best friends who had really gotten like a deeper healing from coming to Refuge. And I had gone through a series of losses that were pretty significant. So I'd gone through 5 deaths in 11 months, and one of them was my dad. And I just felt like I was a ship at sea, like nowhere to anchor. And I knew that I had to start doing some sort of healing because you just can't live like that. I was born into a really severely alcoholic and drug addicted family. And the whole cycle of that is wildly enabling and super detrimental. And I thought that I had fought a pretty good fight and got into a good place. But when the deaths started to keep happening and I felt like I couldn't catch my breath, I started to feel like that little bitty girl in me still needed a lot of attention, and maybe we hadn't met where I thought we had met before. And so I started the EMDR process. I kind of had this question I would ask over and over again to my therapist, which was like, where are the adults? Like, where are the adults? There's just always been this void, and there's never been anyone that I could lean into or, really get any sound advice or leadership from. And then the series of deaths that happened felt like it took the people that were assigned to me, like godly assigned to me to be parental. And as they all kind of faded away, I found myself back in like the abandonment feeling of like, where are the adults? There's been times where I've gone back and I've grabbed little Kristen. She was really cute, but she was also really afraid. And I've been able to take her, and we moved her out, and she's caught up with me, and we get to live a like synced life where she's protected and I feel protected, and we both have a great deal of hope. All along, I've always known there's a God that loves me, and I knew that that is the reason I probably had fared as well as I did for as long as I did. But I started to understand that there's a deeper knowing I have and a trust in myself. And so as many people could leave that are assigned to leave or need to leave, and that ultimately the grounding and the sturdiness and the gravity that I needed was really in myself. It was a deeper dive. It was about really digging in. I had seen counselors before, wonderful, brilliant people, but I felt like every time I left, we had just scraped the surface. I think we would all be dishonest if we said that we weren't a little afraid. And I think that my fear was that it would be too heavy or it would feel too overwhelming. And, I'm a mom, and to be able to do the work I'm doing in these rooms and to be able to feel the way I feel when I leave, to go home and then to be able to parent, right? It mattered to me that whatever I did in those rooms was safe enough and calm enough that I could then leave here and feel like I could go about my normal life. It's a really holy anticipation when I get here. There's been days where I thought, what are we even going to talk about? And then I leave and I think, oh boy, I should have been there for another 4 hours. Refuge is a really, really special place. It's a really safe place. And I think in a world of a lot of uncertainty, like we need that more than probably ever. I think we try to carry too much alone. To be able to have a community, even if that's just a one-on-one community, where you can say the hard stuff and the sad stuff and the embarrassing stuff, and to know that it's held in the grace that it's held in. When you feel like you're in the hole of grief and loss, and no one is like in the valley with you and the dirt is just piling, that is a feeling no one deserves to stay in. And I think here, freedom has been for me just knowing there's a place where that can go and get sorted, and it can get sorted well. And as it gets sorted, it can also just be all done. For the first time since I was 5, I think I can feel a lightness in my chest, and I think that's the freedom. I don't have to carry it all anymore. I carry what I know that I can carry, and I can be done with the rest. I wish people would just give it a try and just sit down one time. What's special about Refuge is the way it does pour into its community, the way it offers a sliding scale in payment, that it's accessible to people. I think one of the things that is wildly overwhelming to people when they first get into like, okay, maybe I do need therapy, but how do I go about that? And how do I go about affording that? To be able to walk into a place that's like this and be able to sit down with qualified professionals that can help you walk through life, and to be able to do that without the anxiety, the added anxiety of also then, how do I even afford to do the work that I want to do? If people want to do the work, they don't need any other obstacles in their way. They just need to get there. Hope grows at Refuge because it is a sacred, sacred space of love and protection.